Prepare for a fusion of knowledge and exhilaration where education and excitement collide.
Taking you on an adventure that expands your mind and speaks to your spirit.
I'm Master Nick.
I'm Lady D.
We are the Dom Life. Hello and welcome. I am Master Nick.
And I'm Lady D.
And we are
the Dom Life.
All right, yeah. We wanted to redo that just because it sounded so cool in our intro. So welcome to our very first podcast.
Yay!
We are excited to get this started, get this up and going, and we are hopeful that you enjoy listening to us and that we provide some good education for you from our perspective and our side of BDSM.
Thank you for taking this journey with us.
Absolutely. So, start things off. So, I am a dominant.
Yay!
I am more of a pleasure dom.
Sometimes,
which means I enjoy pleasing the person that I am playing with.
yes.
However, I do have some sadistic traits. I do enjoy inflicting pain on people that want the pain or want the marks
That's
or the bruises.
basically the pleasure dom part of it. So
Yes.
you might be able to inflict those, but you're going to want them to enjoy it.
They definitely have to enjoy it or else I will not do it. So a little bit about me. I've pretty much been freaky my whole life. I like to, now that I'm aware and know of what's going on, I really like to fly my freak flag high. That was one hell of a tongue twister right there. But I've always had these naughty thoughts and these naughty desires.
That's because you're a very, very naughty man.
Can be. But I've had those pretty much my entire life. But growing up, I was afraid to really discuss it with anybody or talk to anybody about it because at the time, I thought it was something I wasn't supposed to be thinking of.
So taboo.
Yes.
The world made it taboo.
It did.
Thankfully, we grew up, and now as adults, it is not taboo.
Correct. But looking back on it now, I mean, I've fulfilled a lot of those kinks and desires that once upon a time I didn't want to share or talk to anybody about.
And
Thanks
it's just
to you.
going to continue that way.
Yes, it is. So I was introduced into the world of BDSM a little over 5 years ago.
That is when we met.
That is when we met, and that is when you found me.
I did.
On a dating site.
What?
And probably one of the happiest days of my life.
Mine too. Since I married you and all that.
Exactly. And it happened rather quickly. A lot of people thought we were crazy for as fast as we moved. But here we are, 5 years. We just celebrated our 5-year anniversary of being together and 3 years of being married.
Wow. You remembered that off the top of your head?
Don't ask me for the dates.
Oh, you know the dates.
Actually, the wedding date's pretty easy. All right, so I made sure and planned it that way. But going back 5 years ago, on the day that we met, the very first night we met, we went out to a bar.
Yes, we did.
And we got there late.
It was pretty late at night is what he means.
Yeah, we got there late at night, and the bar closed rather early for for it being bar, but the location it was at is understandable. And once the bar closed and we shut it down, neither one of us was really ready to go home.
No.
We wanted to talk and get to know each other a little bit more just because of the way things were going, the way things were flowing. And sitting there that night in my truck in a parking lot of a gas station that was closed for the night. We sat in my truck and we talked for hours. And when I say talked, I really mean we talked. There was a kiss that took a little while, but that's a whole nother story.
Scared you to death.
Scared me to death. She told me that she bases her relationships on the
whether
first
it's
kiss.
going to work or not, whether it's going to even start will be based on the first kiss. Because if I kiss you and I feel like you're my, like kissing, like it's like kissing my brother, there's no passion there, I'm done. We're done.
So I was a nervous wreck. So the kiss took a while, but we sat and talked, and it is in one of our future episodes. And I'm going to ask you, I'm going to go ahead and give you a heads up now. I'm going to want you to repeat what you told me that night about you being a submissive and your needs and your wants.
I'm going to totally need some hints on this one because, that's a long time ago.
It was. Seems like yesterday. If yesterday happened 20 years ago, because it does seem like a long time.
We've been together forever.
But back to the introduction. We're getting a little bit off track there. So we're going to reel it back in. But so again, for me, so I am interested in learning everybody's kinks. If you're listening to this podcast and you have a kink, I want to know about it.
So do I.
And because if it's something I haven't heard of, I want to find out about it. I want to read about it. So after our discussion that night in the truck, the next day for me was immediately Google, what is a dominant? What is a submissive? What are all these things that she's saying she needs?
I bet you had to even Google BDSM.
I did. I did have to Google. I Googled it.
Good thing.
I Googled BDSM. And for those that are listening, if this is your first introduction into the world of BDSM, let me just go ahead and tell you right now to save you the time of Googling what BDSM stands for. So there is 4 letters, but those 4 letters represent 8 words, and they are bondage and discipline, dominance and submission, and sadomasochism.
All fun things.
All a lot of fun things. But it involved a lot of research, a lot of reading, a lot of YouTube videos to open the door for me to really start understanding your wants, your needs.
He's talking about mine.
Yes, that would be yours. But I want to know others too.
Yes.
So, Lady D, what about you?
So I am a sexual submissive, and I've known about it for 15 years or longer. I've played with some people back in that time frame, but then made life choices that didn't involve that. And that relationship ended because I made those choices. In my personal life, I definitely need to be dominated. I need to sexually submit in order for me to feel fulfilled.
And it's not always just sexually neither. There is times it's non-sexual acts that happen in the dominance and submission world.
Yes, that is absolutely true. Like my wonderful master, Nick, who is my husband, will place my orders at restaurants.
Yep.
Because I don't want to talk to people usually. And so he asks me what I want. If he doesn't know, and he will place that order. Yep. So yes, it is not just sexually. But sexually is where things break down if I don't have it. In the real world, I can do all the other things, but when it comes to if I'm not submitting sexually, if I'm not getting that, that little bit of power that he my master does so well.
Spells that I put on you.
Oh yeah, if he doesn't do that, then we got some problems.
Yep, definitely no vanilla sex for you.
No.
You do not like it at all. It's hard to get you turned on and your motor's up and running if it's 100% vanilla.
Correct. That is absolutely. Although lately I've been exploring my switch side.
So what is a switch?
You tell me what a switch is.
So for the listeners, a switch is someone who will have a scene and can do either a dominant or a submissive role. Now, normally in those scenes, those are called tops and bottoms. So being a switch means some scenes you want to be the bottom or the submissive, and in other scenes you want to be the top or the dominant.
Right. And so being a switch, since my natural inclination is to be a submissive, when I switch, basically I'm topping somebody. So recently there's been a number of both men and women that I'm able to top in a scene at the club.
Correct.
club.
In the club. So you don't want to be a dominant?
No.
Because we might have a problem if you want to be a dominant. 'Cause
No. So it's a lot of work.
You're not a kid.
If you've not done this before, then being the dominant takes a ton of work.
I tell people it's like having a second full-time job.
100%. So when I was younger, my first kinky experience ever was involved whipped cream and cherries. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Until the stem from the cherry came off and the cherry was stuck in a place that cherries shouldn't be.
I bet you I could get it out with my tongue.
Well, I guess that's how come it's called a cherry. I'm just saying.
Could be.
So that was like a very young experience. So I started with kink pretty early in life, but then I got into a relationship with a very big 6'2", 220-pound man. And because I'm submissive and I didn't really understand it, I dated a lot of bigger, taller men, which when I met my husband, I was so excited. You're 6'2". Are you really 6'2", or are you just saying that?
I was really 6'2".
Really 6'2". And then he had his boots on, which makes him like 6'4".
So you say.
Well, it's a beautiful thing. So, but this gentleman the guy that I dated was very big. And it was probably 4 or 5 weeks in that we first started having sexual relationship part of it. Like before, it's all the petting, the play. But then when we got there, after the first time, he asked me to spank his ass with a wooden spoon. And for me, it was odd because not something I was used to.
You've never had nobody spank their ass before?
No, that was the first. Okay. And it wasn't just that. It escalated quickly from spanking him with a spoon, which I actually broke on his ass, and he was looking for more. All the way to he decided that he wanted to eat by my feet. Off of my feet, right. and he would kneel. And there is nothing wrong with that. But what that meant is it meant that I was the dominant. And as the dominant, it was my responsibility to tell him what to do.
Right.
And he was topping from the bottom. Okay. As he, Master Nick already explained what those terms are, but he was topping me from the bottom and saying, should I, would you like a massage, or does mistress want? Because I didn't know what to say. It was so much work for my brain. And for me being a submissive, when we're in a scene, I get to shut that off.
Right. Yeah. You just get to lay there and enjoy everything.
What?
Although sometimes I don't make you lay there. I make you get up and do other things too. But that's what you enjoy. You like shutting your mind down. You like giving up 100% control. And that's what I love about it, because basically whatever position, whatever I'm wanting out of it, I know it's a lot easier to get what I want. Yes. Because you have given me all the control and everything.
Yes.
So
I can top, yes. Which means in this very short period of a scene, I'm not telling you what to do typically. In my world, it's on a cross or being flogged or whipped or electric wand. Those kind of things are being used. I'm using them on somebody for a very short duration.
Right.
In our life, my poor husband has to take care of all of the dominant needs.
Correct. And by finding the club, so we found Club Tempted right at about 2 years ago. I think we just renewed our membership again. This will be our third time of renewing. So we've been there 2 years. And it has opened up our world even more, because not only going there have we got to fulfill more of our fantasies, but we have met some really
amazing people.
Awesome people.
We have been very lucky in that the club has a very open-minded atmosphere, and we neither of us came into this relationship with a lot of friends, just because
I don't think we had any friends.
we really didn't. I mean, we had neighbors and we had coworkers,
Right.
but friends.
Friends was just something we really didn't do.
Right.
And by finding this club, it's really opened up a lot. We've got a lot of new exposures. Definitely some probably lifetime friendships.
Absolutely.
I'm hoping for lifetime friendships out of it. A really great, awesome group. Club Tempted. It is in Louisville. If you haven't heard of it and are interested, you can find them at clubtempted.com, where you can go there and check out the rules and sign up for memberships.
Just recently, there has also been a bunch of YouTube videos that they've participated in. So if you Google it, it should come up on YouTube, which means you can see and hear about other people's experiences.
They have the video tour of Club Tempted.
Amazing place to go.
But just so you know, Club Tempted, when it opened, I believe its main focus was a swingers club. We wasn't a part of the building and the designing and all that, but luckily there was somebody that did have a big part in that in the design stage said, hey, let's put a dungeon in here. So although a lot of people that aren't aware and haven't been to the club, they still call it a swingers club. However,
it's a lifestyle
we
club.
like to call it a lifestyle club because there's so many more people other than swingers.
They call it a lifestyle club too. It's usually the people that just haven't participated
or just hear about it, or the taboo of, oh my God, there's a swingers club. But if they only knew what went on inside, because it is the best atmosphere. It is an amazing club. We've had people from other states to come to the club, and we've heard all of them say how it's one of the better clubs that they have ever seen. Now, for us, it's the only club we've ever visited, so we can't state that for sure, but we have heard that a lot. But so Club Tempted, we did find it.
That being said, as he explained, this is the first club that we've attended, and so by no means are we experts in anything. Everything we talk about in this podcast,
it's our opinion.
It's our opinion. And it's an introduction into a world that you can take wherever you want. You do not have to follow us through all of it. You don't have to follow our path. You can take your own path, but we hope that you listen to our journey and that it helps introduce you to other things, because we have been to a dungeon. We've been to some other BDSM type events. Yes. And we're going to talk about those with you in future episodes.
Yep. Which is one of the reasons why we wanted to start this podcast. We wanted to have an avenue that we could discuss our life and what BDSM means to us and what it has done for us. But just because we talk about our life in BDSM, it may not be your life in BDSM. You may go a whole total different direction in it, but it at least will give you some education and some insight into the BDSM world.
And our experiences, because it's a buildup of all the different experiences that get you the knowledge so that you know where you want to go. Yep. As I was just saying, there was a dungeon that we attended, and it was a completely different experience than going to the lifestyle club.
Yes.
And we've done sloshes
and
munches, and all this stuff will be in the future. But those things build a foundation of our knowledge, and we're just giving that knowledge to you.
Right. And also the time that we did visit the dungeon, we was brand new. I don't think we'd been together even 6 months yet when we found the dungeon and wanted to try it.
Let me tell you what an eye-opening experience that was.
Another whole world of fetishes and kinks, and I think it caught us off guard, both of us off guard.
But we also met some wonderful people.
We did.
We didn't keep any of those friendships going, only because it was a completely different kink than ours, but we were so excited to learn about them.
And we even came back and talked and researched about them as well. So on with the Dom life and how it got created. So story from Club Tempted. Again, you're going to hear Club Tempted a lot. But we was at the club one night, and it was a very busy night. I can't remember what theme it was, but we was there, and I have learned that I want to take all my implements and all of my floggers and everything that I have. So I have found a toolbox that's on wheels that I've got everything, all my implements, all my toys in it, and it makes it easy to pack from the home to Club Tempted. So we had went to the club, and when we get to the club, we always sit downstairs on the dance floor, listen to music, talk, and I have my box pushed up against the wall.
He means a box that's almost as tall as me.
It's a good one. We'll there's pictures on the website, thedomlife.com, where you can see all this, and we will continue to post more pictures for our episodes. But we was there one night, and we sat down, we listen to music, we dance, we drink a little bit, we socialize, and then we usually go to the dungeon. Not usually, we always go to the dungeon. So we went to the dungeon that night, and we done our scene, and we left. And the next day we got up, and on Tempted's Facebook page, somebody had mentioned about seeing a toolbox and not realizing what it was. They thought it was the maintenance guy left his toolbox out, was working on something. But then while they was up walking around looking through the rooms, they seen that box set up and a BDSM scene going on, and they wanted to know whose box it was. So I had posted a picture of my box, and I told them, I said, hey,
his box.
If this is the box that you've seen, feel free to message me. And they did.
I just want to say it's almost just as much my box because, we do this together.
True, but you have your own floggers that you carry.
Keep going.
All right. So they messaged me, and they done a podcast. They were doing a podcast at the time, and they were new to the BDSM scene, but they were interested and intrigued and wanted to know if I would be a guest on their podcast. And of course, I was like, absolutely, I'd love to. So they were from out of state. So we set up a Zoom call where they done the podcast, and they had technical issues that night, so it wasn't the greatest podcast, but they was able to go through and edit it. But in that podcast, they were asking me if
a bunch of questions,
a whole bunch of questions. But one of the questions they had asked me was, if I do this professionally, would I do this professionally? And I thought, man, that would be a dream job right there.
Disclosure: he is not a professional dom.
I am not professional. I'm always learning, but I can always show you a good time too. But that got me thinking that.
Don't stick any money down his pants, please.
Wow, we got a mortgage payment to pay.
Okay, maybe just a little bit.
So that question got me thinking of not really wanting to be a professional dom, but wanting to teach and educate people about the BDSM world.
When you were going through their questions too, one of the things that came up was that they didn't really understand what even the terminology,
right? So
it was.
And one of the questions I do remember is, which part of BDSM am I? And that's such a technical. You can't ask that question because if you're any part of BDSM, you fall in just almost every category of BDSM.
Oh yes, I love it all.
So some of the questions that they asked, you could tell they were new to it, but I really enjoyed talking to them and educating them and answering their questions, and not only for them, but for their listeners as well. So that got me thinking of doing something to educate and to take a lot of the misconceptions out of BDSM.
A lot of misconceptions.
So we had talked about starting a website. Driving one day, I was sitting at a red light, and there was a truck with a Salt Life sticker on it, and that's when the reality came to mind. Something simple, something people can know, remember. Everybody's heard of Salt Life. Everybody's got that freaking Salt Life sticker on their truck. But I wanted to do the Dom Life. And so we started the website just a little over a year ago. We had a professional logo made, and now we was kicking around this podcast. So
we had the logo made based on an idea that we had already. So
yes, the idea was there, but we paid a professional artist to design us and create our logo. And so little by little, we've been building to that. We've done a lot of talking over the last year and educating and demonstrating and introducing a lot of people into our world.
Especially at the club where it's a lifestyle club.
Yes, so it is so easy there to get people interested And normally when
all he has to do is pull out the electric wand and everybody is like, what
Everybody's
is
there.
that?
But anytime we're in a dungeon, we always have a huge crowd watching, and more times than not, there's always several people lined up wanting to experience it. So by doing the Dom Life, by doing the educating, now we're pursuing our podcast careers.
Yes.
Hopefully it will be an avenue for our listeners to get an insight.
Hear about us, hear about what we can do, hear about and get some education from what we've experienced.
Correct. But then they also, on the flip side of that, we want to know what your kinks are too. So feel free to reach out to us. You can go to thedomlife.com. There is a contact us page and there's a button. Click on it, drop us a line, drop us an email of what your kinks are, because we're definitely interested in knowing about our listeners.
Absolutely.
And if it's a kink or a fetish that we're not aware of, I want to know about it. I want to read about it. And we may even want to try it. It may be a desire for us to try to see if it's something that we can incorporate into our lives as well. So we're definitely interested. Make sure and drop us a line. Let us know what you're interested in, or feel free to give us topics to discuss in future episodes.
Right. Yeah. We meet a lot of people when we're out, and this is an opportunity to meet people that don't go to the club,
Right.
to interact with. So definitely go to our website just because it has information about us, and we can get information about you.
So coming up on our next episode, we are going to be discussing BDSM, not just pain.
What? Not pain?
Not pain. It doesn't have to be about pain. It can be pure pleasure and excitement.
Isn't it always pleasure?
It is with me. But we will be discussing that, and we will be basing it on the demonstration that we just done at Club Tempted on May 17th, which was a Friday.
It'll give you all kinds of information about BDSM and who we are.
Yep. If you was at the club that night and you're listening, thank you for coming out. If you was a volunteer for that night, we greatly appreciate that. But if you wasn't there, we're going to kind of recap our demonstration night as far as what we done, how it all played out.
But this time I actually get to talk.
Yeah, this time you actually get to talk. And with that note, I do want to thank the people that helped us. So we hosted in collaboration with Ex Libris, with Sir Dante Marcellus and Zora. And then another set that we had was Sir Damien and Samantha.
And then it was Lady Christy.
Lady Christy with Miss Ashley. So there was 4 doms, 4 submissives, and one hell of a demonstration.
Please follow, like, and share our podcast.
Make sure to visit thedomlife.com, where you can find pictures and other details about the Dom Life podcast. And through the Contact Us button, you can ask questions or provide recommendations for future episodes.
We want to explore your kink too.
Be sure to check out upcoming events to see where our adventures are taking us, and our photo gallery to where we've been.
Thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope you had fun listening and learning with us.
Till next time, keep calm and remember your safe word.
Red, red, red.